Hey, how's it going, everybody? Ron here on Human Eyes. I got my little gimbal out or gimbal out, whatever you call it. Kind of getting comfortable, ready to go to bed. Um, it's kind of messy, but it's all right. Anyway, what I wanted to talk about just for a few minutes is the homeless situation we have all over the place. Right now, I'm in Hawaii. I'm on the island of Maui, and we have our share of homeless people. And what I'm about to say isn't anything bad or like I don't have a heart or I might sound mean or whatnot. Um, First of all, I I do care about my fellow human beings. I really do. And when there's people who are hanging out like at the McDonald's or 7-Eleven, that's where they congregate because there's a good chance somebody might, buy him something or lend him a buck. But for my own experience, there's a lot of them that are strung out on drugs or alcohol, and I just refuse to give those guys money because I know I've been around the block more than once, so I know when these guys they tell me, "Hey man, can I get not just $8?" Some guys ask me for like $20. All right, like $20, really. I don't have that kind of money to just hand out, but like, if I got my card, I'll say, hey man, if you want a hot dog or something, all yours, man. You know what I'm saying? You want a Coke or anything? And usually when they say nah, nah, that means they want to either buy drugs with the cash or whatever. And a lot of people now they um they don't carry cash, right? A lot of people. Some people do. I usually don't, and I should in case there's an emergency. Having cash is gold, right? But yeah, I feel for my fellow human beings. I do. And but what's really happening with the homeless situation I see now is that there's a lot of them with mental illness. And I say this, with compassion, not to put anyone down, but some of them are really severe. And I catch the county bus and I see some of them and they're not okay in the head. You know what I mean? And I don't know where they're from. But you look at some of them and you say, man, I just want to tell this guy to shut up, but um, because they go off and, they're kind of like psychotic or whatnot. And again, I say this with compassion uh, because it could happen to anyone. I mean, I had friends that were on drugs who came from good families here in Maui and became drug addicts and became homeless. And we used to see them on the side of the road, in Honokawai. And so, "Oh, man, that's so and so." You can't say their names, to give them up. The family's still around, but it's really a sad thing, And so some some of them you look and you go, "Nah, man, I don't want to mess with them," because they look dangerous. And if they're on some kind of drug that's like they're just all amped out, you know, I seen them. I mean, like the smallest of women that was on some kind of dust could not be subdued by some strong guy, or like some strong cop. You need multiple people to hold them down because their energy is just off the charts when they're on some kind of amphetamine or uppers or whatnot. However, what I'm gonna say, I'm gonna make sure I say this correctly and and try not to offend anyone because I could be homeless. I could be homeless and have a mental, I don't want to say illness, but like a mental roadblock, if you will, or a mental detour, and I'm not all there, and so it could happen to me, it could happen to anyone. But on the flip side of this, um, and I'm talking about hygiene, all right, hygiene, and a lot of the homeless people, I get it. They don't have a place to clean themselves or whatnot, and it's not a funny thing. We gotta have compassion for it. But on the flip side, um, and this doesn't happen. I don't see it every single day, but I've been seeing it quite often, and I've been talking to a lot of everyday citizens on Maui, and I talk to a lot of retired people here on Maui because they catch the bus, right? The city bus, the county bus system. And who rides the county bus system? It's people that don't have a car, don't have enough money for a car, so they got to catch the bus, and sometimes they have to catch a ride to the bus stop because wherever the bus stop is for them, it's so far away they have to catch a ride just to the bus stop, and usually it's with family or friends, and then away they go. But a lot of the people that catch the bus are retired people, uh, people who are physically disabled in a way. They use walkers and they're seniors. Some of them aren't seniors, but a lot of them, you know, 9 out of 10 are seniors, retired, and they had a stroke or heart attack or whatever, and they're using a walker or a wheelchair. And you feel for those people. You try to help them and be kind to them. But there's a but. There's a but. And there's some people who are homeless that are just, their hygiene is not good. And what I was trying to say is somehow, some way, um, I'm just talking about the bus system because here's the thing: I've sat on a wet seat before on the bus that had urine on the bus on the seat because the bus, I kind of wish they had like rubber seats or plastic seats where someone could just wipe it, but it's like the cloth seats that they get. And I sat on it one time years ago, and it was warm, and I go, oh my god, I think it is. And I got up and just did a little test, and I could smell it was somebody's urine, and I was ticked off. I was really ticked off, and I just got off the next stop and caught the reverse back to the apartment and back to our house at the time, and changed and showered and just got sanitized. And but I'm not putting anyone down that that's like that. I'm not. What I'm trying to get at is it's a safety issue. It's a hygiene. It's a sanitary issue. Um, imagine if a little girl or a little boy sat on it. And I'm sure there's people sitting on that every day somehow. Um, and it's just dirty. You know what I mean? And again, you feel for these people, but where is it gonna be, or when is it gonna be where, for safety's sake, the bus system or uh, restaurants or just anywhere, uh, they're gonna have to, and I hate to say it, but like um, not have them enter certain places because I think most people can handle certain odors. You know what I'm saying? Within reason, but sometimes it's so bad where it's like it hampers people's livelihood. And I also seen um this one local lady, a young lady, and this is a true story. She sat on somebody's urinated seat early in the morning. This was a while back. She dressed all nice, pretty local girl, looked like she had an office job, and probably like her her car was broken or something, or the husband or the boyfriend had it, so she had to catch the bus. She was dressed really nice, professionally. She had her little briefcasey thing, and her purse or whatnot. She just looked professional, and she had those knee-high dresses, and well, I remember it was like the khaki color, like the tan ones, light brown. And as soon as she sat down, because she was like one of the later ones that came in the bus, and there was a seat there, and she sat down, and she just sat down, and we just heard her scream, and she was f-bombing the bus, f-bombing the driver. And so what happened, and somebody checked on her, and she had this big old wet spot on her butt, on the dress, and she was livid. And I forget what happened. Either she got off right there and went home somehow, or went off at the next stop. I forget, but I remember that she was really upset, and I would be too. And I was upset when I sat on this urinated seat, and I had nowhere to go that day. This happened a long time ago. I was off, so I don't know, I was going to the beach or something, body surf, which I forget what I was going to do, but it wasn't somewhere important, but still. So when I say these things, it's not about I don't have compassion. So don't get me wrong. I have compassion for everybody. But there comes a point in time when these things have to be addressed. When someone does a number two in their pants, or number one in their pants, hey, game changing, guys. I'm sorry if you think I'm a dickhead right now for saying this. I don't know. Maybe you're not the one that's sniffing this stuff or sitting on it, or you know what I mean. And it's for safety. Come on. It's for safety's sake. Um, before the pandemic, you go into like a fast food place. They had all the cups, right, for the soft drinks. You could make your own slushy. You could make your own diet coke with the ice, right? And after the COVID-19, they stopped doing that. A lot of places had like the the counter girl or the counter attendant would make the coke like old school again. But then after a little while after the pandemic, they started to put the coke machines or the soft drink machines outside, but they did not leave the cups out there. They would hand the customer the cups, because what was happening a long time ago was, and again, I'm not disrespecting the homeless people, but the homeless people, they're not clean. I'm gonna say it, and I'm being real because they're not clean. You see them, their hands are filthy. You don't know where their hands were, and they would just touch the cups and touch the napkins, and it's like, oh my God, what are you gonna? Even back then, um, we used to tell like the the managers, and some of them were afraid because they didn't know if they were to say something they would get in trouble and get sued. And I get it. It's a different time. And I remember when I was riding around the Mahalo bus a long time ago. One of my friends was driving the bus, and it happened. People used to ask the driver, this local brother, "Hey man, can't you tell these guys they can't come in the bus because yeah, they're homeless, and I get it. You gotta have compassion, but it's really, really bad. Your hygiene is really, really bad." And he said to us, "I can't toss them out. I gotta give them a ride." And he said something to the effect like the only way they're gonna stop them and they're gonna have to get out is if their body fluids come out. I don't want to gross you out, but that's what they told me. The drivers did. And when I was working out a long time ago, when I was working out in Kapalua, for the furthest out north you can be here on the island, I had to catch the bus. And this happened, true story. We were waiting at the bus stop at Napilikai, one of the last runs, and there's one more run after this one. So it's like, I don't know, 7:30, all dark. It was like the winter time, and the bus driver came in. All of us we had like 15 of us, like, yeah, let's go. The guy stops the bus. He opens the door and he says, "Oh, wait a minute. You guys can't come in." And we're like, "What?" He goes, "Well, somebody's body fluids came out, and by law, it's a health hazard. We couldn't go in." So we're gonna get another bus. He's like, "Yeah." He called it in if we could wait like maybe 45 minutes, and that was actually like another hour. And they had to send another bus from the other side of the island to get us. I was fine with that. But you see what I'm saying? And again, for those of you who think I'm being like what do you call it? Disrespectful to the homeless people, you got me all wrong. You got me all wrong. And when homeless people have mental problems, I don't like to say illness, a mental roadblock. It's dangerous. I mean, there's some dangerous people out here that is homeless. Okay, I've seen this happen with people I know. They go into food land And this is a while back. I'm not making this up. They go inside, run in, and they got their preteen girls, hanging out in the SUV. And I seen like this one guy is in Lahaina a long time ago, way before the fires. This one, I was watching this guy, and I knew he was kind of crazy. So I call him what it is. And he stuck his whole head inside of the car, the SUV, and the young girls were screaming. And this is how psycho these guys are. They're not safe. I'm sorry. I'm calling it like it is. Some of them are not safe. Listen to me now. So the sister comes out, and local sisters, they want to fight, and she's cussing at the guy, calling him pervert. Get the F out of here! I'm gonna kill you! Blah blah blah. So I walk over there. I'm like, whoa! I know this dude. Yeah, this guy is always drunk. You know, he's like a manipulator kind of guy, and I still see him around. He's really old now, but I can't trust him. I don't trust him, and that's one dynamic. So you have homeless people that really need help. They can't clean themselves. I feel for them. I really do. But for the general public, I mean, come on now. You're talking about a uh, safety for people's health. You know what I mean? And if you're gonna tell me, hey Ron, I hear you, but no, I don't like your style. Well, hey, I'm gonna stand my ground on this post. Um, maybe you haven't sat on somebody's urine, or you had to like you know be subjected to somebody who's like kind of crazy and threatening or whatever. And this stuff happens here on Maui. I've seen people like relieve themselves like in the parking lot of your favorite retailer. Call it that. I don't wanna put the names on of the company, but you can guess what I'm talking about. And I've seen in Hawaii we say tutu. That's respect for the older people. I've seen them step in that human feces, if you will, and I've seen young parents like see these crazy homeless guys acting crazy, and they protect their kids. No, we're gonna walk around this way to get into the store. So that's what I'm saying is that, I don't know what the solution is, but be careful out there. And it's not just homeless people who are dangerous, or whatever. It's like people who got homes can be dangerous. Could be just mentally mentally ill also. So can't judge a book by its cover. But I'm just talking about people's safety for the sanitary reasons, right? Come on. So we learned in school about health: wash your hands, right? And take a bath. But I get it. Some of these guys just they can't find a place to take a bath, and they're trying. Some of them are really trying. I know some of them. They're trying to be productive citizens, but we just gotta pray about it, I guess, and try to work together and have work together with community leaders and maybe lawmakers and figure out what to do. Because when you do like a homeless sweep, you're just ooshing them away. My whole thinking, me and my friend used to talk about this a lot. It's like, if we can put a man on the moon, but we can't figure this stuff out here on Earth to help people. I mean, we can build like multi-billion-dollar hotels and condos, and we can't figure out how to house the homeless and get them back into society. So I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. I'm just Ron. I don't know nothing. But anyway, yeah, I'm just a stupid guy, right? I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Anyway, you guys take care. God bless. If you like this channel, like it, subscribe to it. I'm not getting any sponsors right now, but right over here, beep, right here, I got my QR code for my Venmo. You want to help me keep my podcast going? Send me some dollars, or I usually do buy a cup of coffee. It's right here. Beep, beep. You guys take care. God bless.